So I've been racking my brain trying to figure out why this week's video is so low energy. Then I had to remind myself that I am a caffeine addict and I haven't had my fix yet. Welcome back everyone. So this week I'm just going to tell you a story from last year. And that's mostly because I do have a midterm that I will be studying for presently. But it's also because I think that there's a valuable lesson to learn from it. So it's the first day back from winter break and I had just gotten out of my 8 a.m. math lecture. Wow, yeah, that's another story. Those two words should never be in the same sentence. 8 a.m. math lecture, it's just a bad look. Anyway, so I got out of lecture and I had another lecture it was probably 8:50 when I got out, and I had another one at 9. But before I wanted to go, I wanted to get some coffee. It was another intro lecture, so I figured, oh, it's going to be in a humongous lecture hall with like 300 people, because that's what all my lecture hall classes had been like. Like my math lecture, my physics lecture, my chemistry lecture had all been probably 300 people. So I figured, hey, even if I'm a little bit late, I could just slip in and sit in the back row and nobody will notice, right? And once I finally got there, following the theme of these videos, I was very wrong about the size of the lecture. What I thought was going to be a 300-person lecture hall with doors in the back that you could easily get in and out of, it was probably a 30-person lecture section with one way in and one way out. And that one way in required walking in front of the professor while he was teaching. And I get to the door and I see that the class is full and the professor has already begun his lecture, because at this point I am probably exactly 15 minutes late with my Starbucks. So I stand there and I gather up my dignity and I walk in there and walk to the back of the classroom to go look for a seat. And then, as luck would have it, there were no open seats in the class. So I did not do the logical thing and turn to the professor and ask, hey, can I have a seat? Or turn to the TA and ask, hey, are there any extra desks? Because I didn't really want to, make a bad impression, well, make a worse first impression by interrupting this professor's lecture. So I decided to walk to the back of the class and just sit on the floor. Yep. I walked to the back of the class with my huge bulky winter coat and my colossal backpack and, yes, the coffee. And I just sat on the floor because I deserved it. I deserved to be there, let's be honest. And it was a really awkward 5 to 10 minutes. I don't want to say that moment kind of set the tone for the course, but it set the tone for the course. This was by far the worst undergraduate course that I have ever had. It wasn't even because of that embarrassing moment. That just happened to be kind of a forewarning, if you will. You know, in hindsight, there were like so many red flags that this class was maybe not going to be my favorite class, just by like, 1, the location in the basement of the sketchy library that nobody goes into. 2, one way in and one way out like a dungeon. And 3, the embarrassing moment on the first day. Yeah, takeaways from this week's little story. Don't assume things. Don't assume that your intro to mechanics lecture will be 300 people like your intro to math lecture is, because all the engineers have to take math. Not all of the engineers have to take mechanics. That was my first mistake. Mistake number 2, if you're going to be late to classes, make sure it's calculated. Make sure you've been on time for a number of weeks and you know, hey, this is a class that I can go too late, nobody will notice, or the professor won't care. Don't just take that gamble on the first day. That is a surefire way to screw yourself over. Well, that's it for this week, so bye! Oh my god, how long was my shirt messed up? That's really unprofessional. I apologize. I mean, you can't see anything, so it doesn't matter, but